Rex and the Jets. Never shy around the microphone.
See, I never came here to kiss Bill Belichick's rings.
Never afraid of anything on the field. Especially of the guys up I-95 with all the rings.
Zach Von Wilkerson.
For Belichick and Brady, the game's never been about what you have to say. Just about what you have to do to win.
Just do your job.
And nothing speaks louder than this, baby.
Smith firing downfield.
Brady.
Long ball.
Caught for the touchdown.
Taken off to the end zone.
Yes!
Football starts here.
Down the field. Zigzagging.
Firing pitch to the quarterback.
He gets it again. That was a touchdown. Wow. And his biggest game is a Patriot. He's got a touchdown.
It's Thursday Night Football.
All right, Don Cheadle, as we go behind the curtain to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, for the Jets and the Patriots. A year ago, in the two matchups, they both came down to a field goal margin, with New England winning here. It was a rain game, 13-10. Later in the season, the Jets won at home in a thriller, 30-27. And the Jets have elected to give the football to the Patriots first, so Nick Folk to kick it to either Amendola or LaFell. It's Amendola, and he'll take a knee. And Tom Brady's going to be coming onto the field for his 200th regular season game, 198 career start. Never lost on a Thursday. 6-0 in his career, and has told us in the past he enjoys playing the Thursday games. We're going to start with Vereen at running back, and he gets the handle and slides off right tackle for 4 into the arms of David Harris. So just take a look here, Phil, what Tom has done on Thursday nights, Thursday games. Some of those were Thursdays on Thanksgiving Day. We should point out.
He's done great on Thursdays. Tell me the day of the week he hasn't done really well. But this Patriots offense, it is finding its form the last 2 weeks. Gronkowski, we talked about in the opening. He's back. He is the key. It makes all these other parts work.
All right, they go spread on 2nd and 6. And they get it to LaFell, who's starting to emerge here. And he breaks a tackle and gets it out to the 48 for a gain of 24 yards. He broke away from Phillip Adams.
Well, there's a big separation between LaFell and the corner. Phillip Adams staying so far back. Tom Brady, they've been throwing those short passes outside the last few weeks.
And back quickly. The pass to LaFell, but it's a catch for a gain of 3. Knocked down by Walls, and this hurry-up attack by the Patriots, again with the Jets defense questionable, particularly against the pass. How are they going to do it here tonight?
Well, you got to be ready for the hurry-up. The Jets have played it many times. They know it.
Brady on 2nd and 7. He comes over, plants the feet, goes long. He's got a man wide open, and it's caught for a touchdown by Shane Vereen. 49 yards to Shane Vereen, lined up as a receiver on the right side.
All the way to the top of the screen, the Jets make a huge mistake. Did you see Antonio Allen, the safety that was deep, came up when Tom Brady moved out of the pocket? That was a simple defense call. There was no reason to make a mistake, and that was a good catch by Shane Vereen, who is the best receiving back for the New England Patriots.
What a catch. He was injured for both matchups against the Jets last year, but in 2012, the last time he played against New York, he had an 82-yard touchdown catch. And now he goes for a big one here, just a minute and 29 seconds into the game.
3-man rush, 8 people in coverage.
And Gostowski, a quick 7 for New England. A diving grab, Vereen and the Patriots put up 7 in a hurry. No one in that Jets secondary anywhere close to Shane Vereen.
No, nobody there. An unbelievable mistake by the secondary. Antonio Allen reacts to Tom Brady moving outside the pocket. They were truly in the safest pass coverage that you could draw up. And when you play the Patriots, any mistake, but that one was just a giveaway.
Gostowski's kick. Powell with no chance to return.
Well, Jim, let's go and say this. It's a three-man rush. Tom Brady sees it, so he knows he's not going to take a chance with the football. He moves out of the pocket. Now watch to the back. Oh, Antonio Allen looks forward. Why he comes forward, I don't know. And a good job by Shane Vereen. Keeps moving down the field. And Tom Brady, nobody around him, able to spot him and make that throw.
Surprisingly, the Patriots had only one opening drive touchdown in the last 15 regular season games, but they strike big tonight in a hurry as the first handoff goes to Ivory for a pickup of 3. Now, Geno Smith on the season, 7 picks. He's the only quarterback in the league who's thrown at least 1 interception in every game this season. And he has struggled on the road. Most recently on the road at San Diego, where the Jets were blank 31-zip. TJ Graham on the near side, a speedster. There's a quick toss over to Ivory for just 2. It'll set up 3rd and 5.
Well, Jim, like I said in the open, I think the most important thing is for Geno Smith, and Rex Ryan said it last night, go back there, look at 1 and 2 receivers, and then move to get yards, but also to help the wide receivers. But can the Jets get away from this man-to-man coverage? Not only do we have Darrelle Revis out there now, we have Brandon Browner, who is an excellent bump-and-run receiver, making his first start tonight. Things just got tougher for this Jets passing offense.
On 3rd and 5, Smith, middle of the field. He's got Cumberland, and Cumberland's got open space to the Patriots 47, and they spring that one for 29.
Well, just that little move by Geno Smith. Cumberland inside, going to cut across the field. Devin McCourty, the safety. Don't forget, he used to be a corner. He slips. He knows it's man-to-man coverage. So, Jim, as a quarterback, just pick the guy you like. Go back there, watch him, and try to throw it to him.
So
pretty simple what the Patriots do.
On a 3rd and 5, the Jets get the big play. 29-yard gain at the New England 47, and it's Ivory. And that's good for 4. I've talked about Geno on the road. The last 7 road games, he has not had a 200-yard passing performance. 2 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Well, listen, there's a lot of reasons for that. The wide receivers, he needs help there. He's a young quarterback. And when they go on the road, the tendency is to do what? To reel him in, to play safer, not give him as many chances as he probably needs to have great success.
Michael Vick is in the lineup in a slot to the right, but they're going to run it up the middle. Use him as a decoy and go with Chris Johnson within a yard of the first.
Big key here for the Jets tonight. We talked about it in the opening. Can they run the football well enough to keep the defense honest? In other words, make it easy for Geno Smith in a situation like this so he can run, move around, and keep the Patriots defense from blitzing and maybe actually play some zone coverage, which all quarterbacks prefer to see.
So Vick in for 1 play. It's 3rd and 1 from the New England 38, and they're going to go with Ivory. And Ivory, good piece of running here. He's got the first down and a whole lot more down to the 23. Patrick Chung finally throws him to the turf, but a 15-yard rush it is.
Really good run. They get him sealed inside. McCourty comes out. Number 32, Jason Morrow gets the block to let Chris Ivory jump out there. That run was designed to go inside. And Chris Ivory, the only way you can explain him is what? He is a violent runner. He runs like every run is the last time he is ever going to touch the football.
1st and 10.
Wildcat.
And out of the Wildcat, they're going to go with Chris Johnson. The direct snap to him for a gain of 4. This is one guy that's been underutilized in many ways. Talking about Chris Johnson. Some of these games he's had had few handles, but Chris Ivory, you're right. It's the speed and it's the power. It's should be, in theory, a nice combo.
Well, it should be. You got to earn your carries, Jim. You got to earn them. And so far, Chris Johnson hasn't made the coaching staff go, man, we got to get him out there. You got to make some plays, make people miss, break tackles, try to get those big plays.
2nd and 6. And now, rolling out, Smith. He's going to run with it. And he's got the first down and keeps balanced all the way to about the 8, setting up a 1st and goal.
Oh, man, he didn't want to run, I should say, but, you know, he finally did. 3-man rush. They can block him up. 5 guys. It's a pretty good offensive line. And then finally, nobody open. Good little pump fake and picks up that 1st down. For a quarterback, a completion, a couple runs, getting in the groove. Now you're in the rhythm and the feel of the game. Really good start so far by Geno Smith.
He ran right around Revis on the edge there to pick up that 1st down. 1st and goal from the 9. And Smith with a flag out has his target in Curley. But we've got a flag in the backfield, and it's going against New York.
Holding, number 75 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Bill Levy and his crew.
Oday Ibushi, the left guard, making his first start here tonight. Another good job by moving by Geno Smith, and they uncovered 75, the left guard. Well, Dante Hightower did get by him, and he pulled him down, so that's a good call. But that's a bad break for the Jets. Made some big plays. 3rd down, moving around, Jim. You get the touchdown. Can you overcome it?
Ibushi had only 33 career snaps before tonight, getting again to start at left guard with Brian Winters lost for the season. 1st and goal now from the 19. And again, going to tuck it under and run it down to about the 14. But this is the type of action you thought that the Jets needed to see from Geno Smith. Run it a little more often.
Got to let it go. Watch this. We got blockers down the field. They're blocking. Geno Smith is looking for somebody to throw it to, and both receivers to his right, Jim, were blocking instead of going out for a pass. But yes, I think one of the best weapons this Jets offense has is Geno Smith moving around.
2nd and goal. Decker, the bottom of the screen. Revis is on him. They're going to run it. And it's Ivory. Contact right at the line, and he's pushed back. They'll give him a yard. 3rd and goal from about the 13 on the way.
Now, last week against Denver, Jim, very good run defense. People don't realize that defense of Denver's fast and tough, and tonight already 48 yards. But what I noticed real quickly, they had a few good runs, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, New England said they crowded the line of scrimmage and put Revis and Browner out there by themselves.
Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator. His defense has yielded 2 big 3rd down gains to the Jets. Now it's 3rd and goal. And that pass, they'll give him that down to the 4 on 3rd and goal. Amaro, the rookie out of Texas Tech. And that'll bring out Nick Folk for a field goal try.
Really good drive by the Jets, no question. You kicked the field goal. It's a morale booster. Yeah, you had the touchdown. They took it off the board, but you go to the sideline and go, hey, we blocked them. We got open. Geno was accurate with the football.
They got to take a lot of good things away from that first series, no question. 22 yards for Folk, who has not missed this season, 9 out of 9. And that kick is good. So each team scores on its first possession. The Jets' drive lasted 7 minutes and 4 seconds. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. T-Mobile. And by Mazda. And the Mazda 6 as you look at the hall at Patriot Place. Modern Museum. It's been open since 2008 with all the many Patriot memories in place. And tonight they're going to be honoring at halftime Ty Law, the latest to go into the Patriot Hall of Fame. They'll be coming up at halftime. This is just the 2nd time this season the Jets have had a drive that lasted 7 minutes. 2 to the 30. Tackled down by Kyle Wilson. This is what the Patriots did the first time they had it. Never miss a moment of the action. Get instant news and scores for New York, New England, and all games right on your phone. Download the CBS Sports app. Now there's a new running back just off the practice squad as of 4 o'clock this afternoon. Jonas Gray, as Brady throws it over the head of Gronkowski. Of course, Vereen got the start, and they're trying to figure out what are they going to do without Stephen Ridley. And Vereen's been primarily like a third down back. Terrific pass catcher. And he's already shown that. He got the start tonight. But here comes a guy that is a free agent out of Notre Dame, and they just promoted him. Actually, they told him at 359 today. Here he is, running for a quick 6. Since the start of last year, they've had a lot of different guys carrying the football. Of course, Ridley, as we mentioned, is gone for the season. Blunt's now in Pittsburgh. And what do you see with Gray?
Well, I saw exactly what I thought I might see. A guy that's powerfully built and who runs hard and is looking for contact. And you saw those running backs. They believe in that committee, have a role, fit into it, do it well.
3rd and 5, Vereen's back in there, and he is walloped by Darren Walls short of the first.
Well, good drive by the Jets offense, and then a 3 and out for the Jets defense will give them some emotion going on the sideline. That's clean, helmet to the side. It's an unbelievable job by Vereen making, he dropped the football.
No, he did not hold on to it. Okay. Incomplete, and 4th and 5.
Zone
what a
defense.
Hit by Walls, though.
See the quarterback, react to the throw.
Ryan Allen to punt it. And he missed that one. And it's out of bounds just outside the 20. Mark it at the 25. Actually ends up being a 40-yard boot. Jets offense coming back out, down 7-3 in the first. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Walmart. Save money, live better. And close by here at Patriot Place, the CBS Scene Restaurant, showcasing the history of the CBS network, where you can also pick up some Phil Simms sliders.
Really?
Yeah, and some Lance Barrow buffalo wings.
You eat them and they talk back to you. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess so. On 1st and 10, the fake and the pass to Decker, who weaves his way out for a gain of 9.
Good drive started, but let's go back to what we talked about. Play it fast and loose, Geno Smith, and he did that first drive. I love the fact that they take deep drops. It makes escaping easier. He moved in the pocket, gets Cumberland wide open, and then 2 more runs at the end of the drive got him down in position to try to score a touchdown. But if it's not there, move and create.
So Geno's completed his first 4 to 4 different targets. 2nd and 1, they got the first with Ivory plugging ahead for 4.
See the safeties up there to tackle. They're already worried about the Jets' run game inside. How about that last drive? 15 yards rushing, 3 for 3. So it says a lot. Good starting plays for Geno Smith by Marty Morningwig. Shaking off the last game, and of course, a rough week for him in many ways because the Jets are 1-5.
New set of downs at the 38. Ivory able to get outside. And Hightower ends it, though, for only 1. Coming up, the Lexus halftime report. JB, Dion, Coach Cowher will break down the first half, and they will chat live with Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers coming up at halftime. Now, we talked to the Jets last night. You know, there's, of course, a lot of talk about this desperate times, must win, all of this. They're excited about the fact this is their first divisional game of the year.
It's that. It's Thursday night. It's the Patriots. Man, you got to be excited. So far, they look the part.
Patriots have already lost to Miami and beat Buffalo, so their 3rd AFC East game as Smith looks for Decker, and he pulls it in. It went right over the top of Revis. Revis reached up, thought he might have a play on it, but Smith's pass was right on the spot.
Oh, man, he's feeling it, and it's a really good route. Revis has got off coverage, and when you get off coverage, look at all the space, a nice little stick outside quick. Boy, Revis cuts right underneath it. Good thing Geno Smith anticipated that and threw it soft and over the top. Otherwise, he was going for the interception that time, Jim.
Decker, the big free agent signee in the offseason, but he's been held back by a hamstring and now just starting to get real healthy. First down, and Smith from behind. He's hit and knocked down by Chandler Jones with a flag on the field.
Holding. Number 39 defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
And that's on Brandon Browner, their big signee in the offseason on the Patriots side, the former Seattle Seahawk, who was out the first 4 games with a league suspension and then out the next 2 with an ankle. We weren't sure we would see him tonight.
No, we weren't sure, but I've been trying to watch him. Looks pretty good, being very physical. That's what he's known for. Beat up the receiver at the line of scrimmage and just ruin the route. That's what he is famous for. That's what he's tried to do here tonight.
On first down, up the middle, it's Ivory, and Ivory makes contact with 3 Patriots before the 9-yard run comes to a close. Tomorrow on The Amazing Race, you've had travel nightmares before, no doubt, but wait until you see what happens to 2 teams on The Amazing Race as you make your Friday night amazing on CBS tomorrow at 8/7 Central.
Well, Jim, you saw those numbers last week. The Jets couldn't run the ball against Denver. We're seeing an angry offensive line here in the first quarter. They're winning the war up front.
And they do it again as they pick up the yard and a couple of more with Ivory for another first down and back into the red zone for the second time in their 2 series.
Well, and here's where it becomes difficult for the Jets. You know, you got to be either overpowering or you got to be creative once the football gets to the 20. Short field to defend, hard to find those passing lanes, and you love big receivers in spots like this. And the side, you know, the Jets inside, Amaro big but young.
Looking nothing like the league's 30th ranked offense to this point. On first down, Ivory with another great run for nearly 10, and the flag is out.
Holding. Number 66 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That goes against Willie Colon, the former Steeler guard.
When they get to this spot, holding penalties bringing them back. Willie Colon, very aggressive, number 66. There he is, going against Vince Wilfork. He grabbed that hand at the last second. I got the great view, didn't need to do it. But Willie Colon and Vince Wilfork, oh my gosh, did they have some wars last year.
So each of the guards for the Jets have been flagged with a holding call in the red zone in this opening quarter. First and 20. And Chris Johnson has nowhere to go.
When you look at Willie Colon against Vince Wilfork, Jim, that's probably, I would bet the over on 700 pounds. A lot of weight. And Willie Colon is kind of the personality of the offense. You know, he's plays hard and pretty much a leader in the clubhouse, all those things, and they follow his lead.
3 tight ends enter the Jets lineup. 2nd and 19. That's Sudfeld in motion. And with time, oh, it's a drop by Amaro. Amaro coming off a 10-catch game against Denver.
Guys come underneath, look at the hole that time, and he took his eyes off of the ball at the last second. Watch his head. As you can see, it moved just before the football gets there. He had a big drop last week. Boy, when you're playing, you're in situations like that. In the NFL, you don't miss open receivers, and you just can't drop the football when you're uncovered and wide open.
That's the first incompletion for Geno. And it should have been a catch as he's able to escape the first contact That pass is out of bounds. Amaro this time holds on, but his feet weren't in. There is a flag.
There was no foul on the play for holding. 4th down.
So Falk will come back out. Be something in the range of 47 yards.
Amaro down the field. Really good coverage. Patrick Chung definitely out of bounds as he catch it. You know, the Jets, hard to overcome mistakes. We've seen them here in the first 2 drives. You know, when you're a great team, you can overcome easier, of course.
47 yards it is. With Quigley on the hold, and Purdom snaps it back. And Nick Falk is now 11 for 11 for the season. So the Jets come in here reeling on a short week on the road against their top rival, and they've looked good. They're down 7-6.
Decided to resign as the head coach of the New York Jets.
As he hit Brady in charge.
I never came here to kiss Bill Belichick's, rings.
And the Jets are going to go to the AFC Championship game.
Can't wait. He ran right to the back of Brandon Moore. Are you kidding me?
A little sampling behind the scenes with these 2 franchises, these rivals, and Rex Ryan was asked this week if this is a low point, this 5-game losing streak, and the shape of the team right now. He said, yeah, I would say so, but we're not dead. When we talked to him last night, Phil, he said, now, there's no sure thing, but we may be the only guys who think we can win, and that's fine. That guys really believe it. As Amendola, who had not returned a kick since 2012, you see the flag.
Holding. Number 38 during the return of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
20 of the last 23 snaps have been plays run by the Jets.
Well, 7 first downs, 7 plays for New England, and 7-6 for the Patriots. Interesting to see, really haven't got a chance to really look and see the overall game plan of how the Jets are going to play this. They had success last drive playing zone defense.
And again, they're going to go with Jonas Gray as the running back.
Tell him.
Came out of Notre Dame in 2012, was undrafted. A pass is to Gronkowski, and he just trips on his own. Going to take us to the end of the quarter. 7-6. New England will return after these messages, and you're watching Thursday Night Football. About to start the second quarter. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Mike Carey. If needed, any rules explanations? Time of possession. Brady and the Patriots only on the field for 2 minutes and 36 seconds, but with a touchdown on the board and the lead at 7-6. 2nd and 7 is Edelman. Catches the one underneath for just a gain of 4.
Well, when you're playing defense for the Jets, 2 things you got to know, Jim. Where's Gronkowski? Where's Julian Edelman? The football finds its way to those 2 guys at a high rate. Last year, when New England played down in New York, Tom Brady targeted Gronkowski 19 times. I had to check that about 3 times. I couldn't believe it.
That was Gronkowski's return game.
That's right.
And man, did they try to feed him the football. He was over 100 with 8 total catches. 3rd and 3. Brady now all kinds of time. LaFell was the intended receiver. He had been tangled up with Walls on the route. And again, the Patriots are off the field in a hurry. Another 3 and out for the second straight time.
They were ready. Watching the down at the bottom. They're trying to do an out and up, and a good job by Darren Walls. Good ball skills. Looks back at the quarterback. Gronkowski, look, they jump him right away. That is the key. Underneath, make Tom Brady throw it down the field.
Ryan Allen got hold of this one. Walter Powell trying to shake free, and he's to the 40. Good starting point for New York. 51-yard boot. Don Jones ends the return. And the headlines in New York, none of it pleasant for this football team. The saga out in San Diego with the missed meeting on the eve of that game against the Chargers. Win or else, some are saying.
Well, that's the name of the game in this league, isn't it? Win or else. You gotta. It's been a couple years since the Jets have been in the playoffs. When you're 1-5, those questions are going to come up. Don't pay attention and just play better.
Here's the handoff to Johnson. He's up ahead for 4. Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, thanks, guys. You talked about Rex Ryan saying it was a low point of his career, and one of the media members asked if it was a dysfunctional locker room. He said, I wouldn't go there. He said, I truly believe we have the right people in the locker room, and he said it gives us a shot to win. He said there are obviously easier places than New England to win, but he said win this and we can do some good things and maybe turn this around, guys.
Of course, the biggest win of Rex's reign was that divisional playoff win here in 2011 as Johnson was a yard shy of a first. They won that game after being blown out in the regular season here 45-3. What about Revis now in this interesting matchup against his former team?
Well, they've thrown the football his way. One thing I love what the Jets did, they brought Decker inside. It made Darrelle Revis play off coverage. He knows what's going to happen, but Geno Smith made a perfect throw. The Jets said we are going to look his way. We're not going to completely avoid him. But I would just say this, I wouldn't test him a lot.
Let's see if the Jets line can get it done on 3rd and 1. And they do get enough of a push to get Ivory across for the first down and back to the New England side of the field for the 3rd straight time, all 3 possessions.
When you go back to Darrelle Revis, you go, all the stats are he's been thrown at this many times in completions. I don't care. When you watch games that he plays, he runs the route for the wide receivers about half the time. So if you keep picking on him, he's going to get there. He's not afraid to read it, take the right chance, and get that interception.
3 wides on 1st down. And Smith changes the play and gives it to Johnson. And the Patriots were waiting for him. Of course, Revis is so remembered for what he did as a member of the Jets. He was the 14th overall pick out of Pittsburgh in the 07 draft. 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. A torn ACL his last year in New York, and then just couldn't come to terms on a big contract. They have 1 year down in Tampa, free agent again this year.
He's perfect for Rex Ryan's defense. That's why they did so well the first couple of years. Rex Ryan likes to blitz, do some unique things. He needs corners that can play man-to-man by themselves outside.
2nd and 11. Dropping back, now throwing with pressure in the direction of Eric Decker as Ninkovich was chasing after the quarterback.
Rob Ninkovich, you know, you don't hear his name a lot out there when people talk about defensive players. Last week, 3 sacks up in Buffalo. He's very good against the run. And Rex Ryan, Marty Morningwig, everybody said we got to watch him on one side and Chandler Jones on the other. And they start giving us problems. We got to get the running back and tight ends to help block them in passing situations.
Another snap from the Patriots side of the field. New England only 1 play from the Jets side, and came from this very 49-yard line, went for a touchdown. As Smith has his pass knocked down, but a flag is out. That was Logan Ryan defending the pass intended for David Nelson.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 24 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And it's on Revis.
Well, let's watch what Geno Smith does, Jim. As he drops back, he's going to look over here, and Decker slips and falls. He immediately turns, looks to the backside, and gets the in route. They did accidental tripping of the feet. So I guess the official said, hey, he probably pulled him down. That's why they threw the flag.
And again, time of possession approaching 5-1. Backup receivers in for the Jets on 1st down, and Smith was looking for a long option, and now he's going to tuck it under, and that'll go in the books as a sack. Hightower drops him for a yard loss. Monday on NCIS Los Angeles, LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell star in a new episode you don't want to miss. NCIS Los Angeles, new night, Monday at 10, 9 Central only CBS.
Another good decision by Geno Smith. I mean, he's such a target of criticism for many reasons, but so far tonight, playing perfect.
He's going to hand it off here to Johnson. He takes a tumble to about the 38. It goes for 7.
Little triple option, zone read, whatever you want to say. The Jets always have it in, but they've handed it off almost every single time since the opening game. Everybody's ready for it. They're looking for the quarterback.
You've watched all the Jets film. How many times have you seen Smith stick it in the belly and pull it back out and keep it?
Very few. Very few. But if you get the defense thinking about it, it can make them play a little safer, which helps you throw the ball.
Bilal Powell is in the backfield. 3rd and 5 for the Jets. And Geno taking off for the first down, and he's got it.
I like that. You know, every quarterback, you don't have to be fast or a great sprinter to move around as a quarterback in this league anymore. Watch how deep he takes the drop. I've always liked this. He's about 9 yards back, and then he retreats. So what happens, Jim, it gives you a chance to really see down the field, and it really gives you a better opportunity to run if you need to.
This was the one thing Belichick told us when meeting yesterday, did not want to see Geno get the opportunities to run.
Well, if you do that, then you got to make your 2 edge rushers stay outside and not go after the quarterback to keep those lanes closed.
Johnson with the wiggle to the 29 as the Jets now have put up the last 10 first downs in this game. Now, that was a 7-yard run by Smith the play before for the first time. How many yards did he actually run to gain 7?
Well, if you and I were running this far, we'd be out of breath, that's for sure. 46 yards to gain 7. On his 2 previous runs, Jim, he ran over 90 yards to pick up 15 yards. So, hey, got to be in shape. He's young. What did I say to him? Are you okay? These games are kind of rough. He goes, oh, I'm not sore at all. I never get sore.
Quick turnaround games. He says, I love it.
Good to be young.
2nd and 7. Good pass, but no gain for Amaro as Revis wasn't going to allow him to get any angles on him. They can be coming up now with their 10th snap inside the 30-yard line of the Patriots.
Well, here's where a young quarterback, these are the tough spots. Because you don't want to take a sack, you don't want to take a chance, you're in scoring territory, you can get that field goal, so you have to think about that as you go up to the line of scrimmage. Okay, be smart, read it. If nothing's there, either run or throw the football away.
That's Casey Walker, rookie or first-year player running onto the field the last moment for the Patriots, and that's off the hands of Powell. The Patriots had that one defended, had he caught it anyway.
I like the play call, screen to the outside to the running back, but you said it, Patriots have seen many screens practice against their own team. As Powell comes across, 2 defenders, 1 chasing from behind, 2 in front, see it, and sometimes that's the calls you make when you have a young quarterback. Don't always put it in his hands to make the decision in a good throw.
Jets are missing a lineman.
Got to call a timeout.
Yeah, because they're down to 4 on the play clock. And that was Ijalana, who was late getting onto the field.
I think it's Ibushi who was supposed to be out there. Both of them were running out there late. Yeah. Dave Ibushi's going, hey, man, I'm starting. Do I have to do this field goal thing too? And I could see him. He's in disgust because I can imagine everything that's going through his head. Thursday night football, making his first start, going against guys he's heard about for many years, guys like Vince Wilfork.
So the Jets use the first timeout. It'll be a 46-yard field goal attempt for Nick Folk, who had a 42-yard game winner last year to beat New England down at the Jets. And 46. He's good again. And New York has taken the lead at 9-7 as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. We're back at Gillette Stadium, which opened back in 2002, and every home game has been a sellout here. Their Patriot team, though, is down 9-7, and after an opening drive touchdown by New England just a minute and 29 seconds into the game, they haven't picked up a first down since. Amendola, he's advised by LaFell to take a knee. You know, you often hear after a guy booms a kick, that could have been good from 60. We actually have the technology to tell you how far that would have been good from. 58. It was actually 46 for the lead. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by HP. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. We're 28 miles away from the center of Boston. We're actually closer to downtown Providence, which is 25 miles away. All right, the Patriots will start back at the 15 after.
False start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Solder is flagged for that. So first and 15 coming up. And you look at Brady by the numbers. There's so many different ways you could go with it. The highest win percentage of all time. 152 and 45 as a starter. Most playoff wins of any quarterback ever. On and on. First and 15. Lofts this one. Edelman has it, and the feet are down for the first down. Gain of 16.
Nice play design. If you're going to play a zone defense, they speed Brandon LaFell down the field. It opens up the sideline. And Julian Edelman, as Tom Brady says, my gosh, he's playing great. Just so tough, sure-handed, and can do everything.
And again, Gray is the running back. And this is his second carry. It's good for about 3.
Well, the Patriots been stopped here so far. Of course, they had that one big play where the New York Jets just completely blew the defense. And Josh McDaniels, the thing about the Jets, they change constantly because they know they're playing a good quarterback. Keep changing the looks. Don't let him get in a rhythm.
2nd and 7. And that pass deflected at the line, and the Jets make a diving attempt for the interception. Deflected by Muhammad Wilkerson.
Listen, when you're pass rushing only 3 guys, it's really important as a defensive lineman to know that. This time they pass rush 4, Jason Babbitt on the outside. But always look, quick passing game, look for the throw to knock it down.
Brady steps up, fires it for the first down to Gronkowski. And New England will be operating at midfield. Good for 17.
What a quick decision by Tom Brady. Looks right, doesn't like it, nobody open, and immediately finds Gronkowski on the in cut on the backside. That's the one thing. Tom Brady's been running the same offense since he came to New England as a 6th-round draft pick, so he can react very fast to every play.
Now Vereen is the running back, and they fake to Vereen. LaFell able to snag it at the 30 and carry with him for another 4 yards. Phillip Adams.
Now they're trying to go for the touchdown. He goes down the field. Here comes the in cut. And when you watch it, look at all the blockers for Tom Brady because they want to give him extra time, lots of protection, so he can really gather himself and make a strong throw, which he did.
Boy, Brady had a lot of praise for Brandon LaFell.
Sure did.
Told us he's been quite a find. It's like a freight train. We've got to get him the ball more often, already with 3 catches.
I thought they'd be alert. They could snap it to the running back when he ran out there.
The running back is Gray. They fake to him. Brady now flushed out and incomplete off the hands of Amendola, and another flag is down.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive lineman, I think, down the field that time. Josh Klein took so long he figured Tom Brady was going to run.
Ineligible. Downfield, number 65 offense. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
Good job by the Jets. When the Patriots get going, they look to get it. I mean, they're not like looking to march. They're looking for big plays. And they tried to do a little double move against Dwan Landry, the safety, and he was right on it. That's why Tom Brady had to get out of the pocket and try to make something happen.
10. It's Vereen. Stutter step move to get past Harris. And he's got a first down as he's shoved out by Landry near the 10-yard line.
Could have been another penalty after he was out of bounds, the late hit. But the quick snap, the Jets weren't ready. David Harris just got blocked enough. Here it comes again. Quick snap.
17 for Vereen. First down, Brady. Rollout. Looking. And cuts his losses at the 11.
You know, when you play the Patriots, we heard Demario Davis, the linebacker, talk about it. It's the tempo. They go methodical, then they speed up, and they just try to confuse you and beat you with the speed of how they run those plays.
That goes in the books as a sack for the Jets defense. Loss of 1.
Gronkowski split out to the right.
LaFell to the far left. And it's Vereen inside the 10 and bounced out near the 3.
When you watch the Patriots catch those short passes and even on runs to the outside, just watch the guys that hit the ground. Here it comes, quick screen pass or flip. And as you're looking down the field, you always see a defender hitting the ground because the linemen, wide receivers, everybody blocks, and they do the one thing. If you can't get them, go to the ground, make them go around you.
3rd and goal from the 3 as Vereen comes back, flanking the quarterback. Brady looks and finds Vereen for the 2nd time tonight. Touchdown, New England.
Protection is just too good. Yeah, you want to play pass coverage, but you have basically one guy rushing Tom Brady. And it broke down. People were going to be wide open everywhere. It's a good ploy, but he knew it. He's seen it all. He took his time and waited for Vereen to come wide open.
And Vereen, he is such a threat out of the backfield. He had a 12-catch game last year against Cleveland. He's got 3 catches tonight for 60 yards and a pair of touchdowns. And the extra point is good. You're wondering, how are they going to replace Ridley? Well, we're seeing a combo so far tonight of Vereen and Jonas Gray as the backs. Take an unprecedented look inside the Giants draft war room. Don't miss the series finale of Finding Giants Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, or catch a special advance premiere tonight at midnight only on NFL Network. So Vereen with a big first half, and a lot of people were thinking that the running back tonight would be Brandon Bolden. We've only seen him on special teams. He's out here on kick coverage right now for the Patriots. Has not seen an offensive snap to this point. As Powell tries to gallop out from 3 deep, and he's turning on the speed. He's out of pass to 40, and Gostkowski cut off the angle on him, allowing Tavon Wilson to eventually bring him down. But that's a 62-yard return and a boost for the Jets. Walter Powell. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Subway, train hard, eat fresh. And by AARP, Real Possibilities. A real soaker of an afternoon here, but the skies have cleared, and now the Jets again living on the New England side of the field. Starting this drive at the 41 after a 62-yard kick return. Play action, and Smith, his option wasn't there, and he's able to shake off the sack. And it bounces off the hands of Decker, incomplete.
Well, Jim, they've had success so far moving the football, the New York Jets have. Look at the number of plays, 12, 10, and 12. And you go, well, what is New England going to do to stop them? And my answer is nothing. They like the fact they held them to field goals. And they say if you think you could keep marching the football like this, then New England's got to like their chances. So you don't panic and worry about the fact that they've moved the ball. Holding the field goals is the most important.
Their first 2 drives stalled after holding penalties deep in Patriot territory. 2nd and 10, back to the ground with Ivory. And he moves the ball to within field goal range if they have to go to that option. 3rd and 5 coming up.
Well, Jim, let's go back just real quick. Talk about one more time. Vereen out of the backfield, makes a nice move. Tom Brady, nobody around. One rusher. Vereen's open, and you see LaFell in the back of the end zone uncovered. So I don't think we'll see that defense again tonight against Tom Brady.
And Brady's now 8 touchdowns, no picks since that loss, that humiliating loss they suffered at Kansas City. 3rd and 5, and Smith in trouble now. He's going to run for it again and tries to get around Collins, who pushes him out right toward the first down marker, and it looks like it'll be enough for the Jets.
Well, if it's short, right away you got to know if it's short, you're going to go for it. But watch the receivers over the middle. Just panicked a little bit. You see the short receivers are open, but he's having so much success running. That's why he looked for the running lane. Another good job there by Geno Smith carrying the football.
Second time tonight that Smith on 3rd down has run for a first.
The good thing is he's running and not taking big hits.
It's Ivory. And Ivory chugs along for about 6. The running game tonight has been really effective so far.
Well, they're trying to go inside. That's where they think the weakness of the defense could be. Nice job getting outside by Chris Ivory and then Geno Smith.
108 yards rushing so far for New York in this game. Led by Ivory's 53 on 11 attempts.
Between the running, chasing Geno Smith. That'll tire a big defensive line out.
2nd and 4, and the cut nicely done by Ivory, and he's down to the 16 and another first down.
Good job. Quick snap count that time. Catches them off. Sudfield 44 goes down the field. Man, keep running. Go through him. Chris Ivory could have made a move and maybe scored.
And again, this defense without Gerard Mayo the rest of the year. IR'd earlier this week. 2-minute warning, and the Jets are driving again. JB and Coach Coward getting ready for the Lexus halftime report. Deion Sanders will be joining them as well, breaking down the first half. There's Deion.
Deion, I think it's safe to say he doesn't like the cold weather. Nice coat.
Phillip Rivers is going to be a live interview coming up at halftime. First down Jets. There's Ivory. Again, a nice cut, and he's got another 8. He's had some big runs on first down, 8, 9-yard gains. This is a good one. He's in for 9.
It's just a great run. He doesn't panic. Everybody gets their blocks, and nice job by Obushi, the left tackle, left guard there. He stays with his block, and Chris Ivory just waits, finally sees that open hole and takes off. And for the Jets, this is exactly what you wanted. Take your time. Take your time, run out the clock and try to score and keep Tom Brady off the field. But they've been down in here. They haven't found that play to get him in the end zone yet.
13th snap from inside the 30 coming up. And a 2nd and 1. And a little bit of a bobble on the exchange. And they stuff Ivory this time. Timeout called by New England. Patriots call the timeout with 1:09 to go in the second quarter. Monday on CBS, see why critics are raving about the new hit drama Scorpion. New episode Monday at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Interesting timeout here. You liked it, the one called by New England.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You got Tom Brady on the sideline. No matter what happens, even the Jets score, you want to give him one more chance with the football before the first half ends.
Of course, if the Jets don't score but pick up the first down, they might be able to work this down to all the time in the half with production as Smith throws to the end zone and out of reach for David Nelson. So for the 4th time, the Jets drive shuts down and Mick Falk gets the call.
David Nelson against Logan Ryan did a little inside double move but could not shake him. What a job by Logan Ryan. Comes in on 3rd downs. Go out there and cover a guy one-on-one who makes 2 moves, and he was right with him.
27-yard attempt. And Falk had some pressure coming from the outside. but he delivers it again. 14-12 New England. Minute and 1 second for Tom Brady and the Patriots with 2 timeouts. And these quarterbacks in the first half.
Good job so far, Tom Brady. Great numbers. Geno Smith, you look at the numbers and you go, well, that's just not very good. You know, look at that. His quarterback rating's probably low, but he's played awesome. You know, not made a mistake with the football. Nobody was open that last play. He threw it where only his guy could catch it.
6 out of 12, but he's hit only 1 of his last 7. He's done some damage with his legs, though.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Brady at 149 and 2 touchdowns.
Patriots got some good defensive backs, Jim. Now they can cover, so it's not like you just march up down the field throwing the ball outside.
Amendola, 5 yards deep. Gets it out to the 25, 30-yard run back. Brought down by Kyle Wilson, his second special teams tackle. It was Kyle Arrington who tried to get there, was just a half second late. Made it by 6 inches off of kick traps.
Well, what do you do if you're the Jets? Do you sit back and play ultra conservative? If you do, you're definitely going to give Tom Brady and his offense a field goal chance.
As Gronkowski, who ultimately moved.
Neutral zone infraction, number 58 defense. Being in the neutral zone caused the offensive man to false start. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Jason Babin.
Yep, he fell, and he did a good job of going down the line of scrimmage. Made it look like he didn't cross, but neutral zone, that's the width of that football, and he definitely crossed it.
1st and 5 from the 31. Vereen. It's been Brady's favorite target tonight. He was hit when he threw it. Babin, who had been called for the penalty the play before, was the one who hit Brady. And again, the Lexus halftime report is coming up, and Philip Rivers will be joining them via satellite. What a start to the season for Philip, and we're going to see him next Thursday night when Rivers and the Chargers take on Denver in the Mile High City.
Philip Rivers has got some talent. We know that. He's got a lot of energy too, Jim, and he plays like that.
With Brady finding LaFell. It's going to be good enough for a first down.
Blitz by the Jets, really picked up well by the offensive line. And he lets him make an easy throw outside. I'm not surprised. You look at these numbers, 4th most in the NFL. Because they work on this, and they got a lot of good players.
45 seconds, and the ball is in the arms of Gronkowski, who's able to sidestep over walls. Wilkerson slammed Brady after the throw, but it's a hookup for 20 to Gronkowski.
Well, it's Gronkowski. You always have to know where he is, and nobody covered him or saw him. Wide open. Good job by Brady finding him.
3rd catch for Gronk for 38 yards. And now with 38 seconds. Gronkowski had gotten out of bounds to stop the clock. And that's going back to Gronk and off his hands. He had a step on David Harris.
Well, let's see what the Jets were doing on defense. Here's Gronkowski going to go across the field, and watch, nobody's going to go with him. Well, they read the eyes of the quarterback. The linebacker, Davis, came up to try to cover the running back. Tom Brady hits the ground, but pressure is slow to get there on Brady so far in this game.
2nd and 10. And that's thrown in the area of Vereen, and Demario Davis was there for the coverage. What a leader he is for this Jets defense. 3rd-year player, but he's got the veterans listening to him.
Well, it's interesting. The leaders of the team are not vocal guys. Well, Demario Davis is a leader, and let me tell you, he's vocal. So he makes up for some of the guys like Nick Mangold. Guys like that, they just like to lead by their presence and the way they work. You need guys like him on your team.
3rd and 10. looking for Amendola, and he got a hand on it, and a flag is out on Antonio Allen.
Antonio Allen is in great position.
Pass interference, number 29 defense. First down, spotted a foul.
Jim, as I watched it, I think he thinks the play is over. Once again, it's an out and up. There he is. He's perfect. Doesn't see the football, and then all of a sudden at the end, you saw his right arm come out. He gave up on the play.
How about the way Brady lofted that up in the air so softly, and Allen lost sight of it. 32-yard penalty.
Well, the one thing about the Patriots I like about their offense this year, they're throwing it down the field more than they have in the last couple.
From the 12, Brady. End zone. Incomplete. Edelman double covered. Now with 17 seconds.
See here, I would not be afraid. The Jets, a little tired on defense after the last drive here. Look at out there. Everybody's got their hands on their hips. They're gasping for air. Why not call a timeout? Give them a break. Rethink what you're doing and maybe stop the Patriots to a field goal.
LaFell to the right side. He had a 2-touchdown game at Buffalo last Sunday. He's got Kyle Wilson on him. Edelman to the left. Brady still has it, and now has to throw it away. And look at all the flags that are out now. Antoine Barnes kind of blew up the play for that Patriot offense as Barnes came barreling in.
Yeah, he's back this week. He's an edge rusher they needed. Powerful, can get to the quarterback along with Jason Babbitt. They have strength inside. They need guys outside to get there.
After the down was over, personal foul, number 65. Personal foul, number 65, offense. 15-yard penalty, third down.
Devy is called for it. Because Barnes, and after the incompletion, he just threw Brady down, and then Devy says, hey, you don't do that to my quarterback. And he gets flagged for it.
Well, I like the reaction of Devy. You come to the defense of your quarterback. Wasn't much of a hit.
Should have been a flag on Barnes.
I don't think so.
3rd and 25, and they go with Vereen. And that's Antonio Allen pushing him out of bounds with 5 seconds to go. And that'll bring out Gostowski.
Because you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Did Barnes see Brady throw? You could see his head's down. He's hustling everything, trying to get there. He was still in bounds.
Gostowski, 16 out of 17 on the season. 26 straight makes at Gillette. This will be 39 yards.
Good timeout by the Patriots on that jet drive to give them a chance.
And Gostowski puts up 3. The league's leading scorer a year ago. And remember, the Jets will be receiving the second half kickoff after deferring at the top. Patriots put up 10 points in the final 4 minutes and 20 seconds. But they sprint to the locker room feeling pretty good as New York about what it accomplished in that first half. 17-12, New England at the intermission. We're back with Alexis halftime report in a moment. You're watching Thursday Night Football. Touchdown passes, Tom Brady to Shane Vereen. 4 field goals for Nick Folk. And the Patriots lead at 17-12 as the third quarter is about to begin. But first, let's double check this highlight from the first half presented by State Farm. First drive of the game, 89 seconds into it. Brady, 49 yards to Vereen for the touchdown. halftime, Ty Law, honored as a Patriot Hall of Famer. And boy, did he get an ovation when he celebrated the moment with Otis Smith and Lawyer Malloy. That was some defensive backfield they had back in the day.
Pretty good stuff.
How about the Jets here in the first half? Again, we talked about at the top. You said the Jets, they know how to kind of hang with the Patriots. Rex has had some game plans that have worked in the past, and it did here tonight.
I think there's a couple things the Jets need to do here in the second half. Deion Sanders was right. They got to find a way to get somebody open down the field to make the play to get in the end zone. And the other thing is Tom Brady, they're going to throw the ball. If you're not going to rush him, he's going to stand back there and he's going to pick you apart.
First half numbers, the 124 rushing yards by the Jets. Now consider this. Belichick's gone against the Jets 31 times regular and postseason action. Okay, as a coach for New England. It's the first time his Patriots defense has ever given up over 100 yards rushing in the first half to New York. Powell standing all the way at the back of the end zone for Gostowski's kick. He knew what he was doing. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks, Jim. I had a chance to speak with Rex Ryan coming out of half, and he said he likes the way his offense is moving the ball, but he said converting in the red zone, that's been the story of the season. And he also said that on third down, giving up a touchdown, that too, they have to quit doing that. And the blown coverage to start the game, he said, we gave them one. Also speaking with Bill Belichick, he just said the running game of the Jets and Geno Smith, they need to stop. They need to be more consistent there defensively. Guys?
From the 20, as they shift around Curley, Smith was looking possibly for a block, and Ivory is taken off for a gain of 17 on the first play of the second half.
Those type of runs are really hurting this defense. They're running the ball up the middle, but a couple times, nothing there. The edge, they're chasing down inside. Ninkovich gets caught, and Chris Ivory once again jumps to the outside. 14 rushes by the Jets up the middle in the first half, 66 yards doing that.
How much success for this running game has to do with the fact that Mayo is not out there for the Patriot defense, as now it's Powell who takes it straight ahead for 8.
Little wildcat, they show you everything the Jets do, but to answer your question, Jim, of course it hurts. If there was a weak spot in this defense, I thought it was the interior defense there, the defensive lineman running the football up the middle. So you take out a really good linebacker, your quarterback of the defense, a leader like Gerard Mayo, of course that hurts your team, and the Jets are taking advantage of it.
Well, they're going with 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 DBs. The linebackers, Collins and Hightower, as Ivory on 2nd and 3 has the first down, and Collins finally able to tackle him, but not until it's another 13-yard rush.
I wouldn't take Chris Ivory out either unless he begs to get out, but they bring in a bigger defense to stop the run, and once again, Giacomini, 68, the right tackle, wins the war, pushes Ninkovich down the line, and Chris Ivory, we said it, Rex Ryan, everybody in New York knows it. This is a tough, he's a violent runner, and he is showing all of his talents here tonight.
This drive, 3 runs, 36 yards. He's 2 shy of 100. First down from the 44. And Ivory's got his 100-yard performance.
One thing, talking to Bill Belichick, you talk about this Jets offense. I said, what's a little bit about it? He goes, what do you mean? Phil, they do everything. I mean, every formation, every personnel group. We've already seen it tonight, the zone read, the running game. We've seen the Wildcat a couple times. Michael Vick has come in the game. So they make you think, and they need to keep changing it up, I think, to keep having success against this New England defense.
Just one play for Vick, used as a decoy in the first quarter, and 2nd and 8. And Smith takes off down to the 38 for 4. It'll be 3rd and 4 coming up for New York.
Well, they're trying to do this. They're going to take the tight end and drag him across. It's the old shoot screen. They're trying to get the defense all running one way and sneak him across, and look at that. They're all in position. The deep guy's covered. Cumberland, the tight end, cannot find his way across. Another good decision by Geno Smith.
That's Casey Walker, who Finally makes the contact with Smith. Third and 4. And that's Decker with his third catch. He's the only wideout who has a reception tonight for New York. It goes for 14.
Nice combination. Jeremy Curley and Eric Decker to the same side. Good protection, nice patience. He was expecting Decker to come open because in the past, Jeremy Curley, number 11, has had success against this defense. Tonight, they're covering him well. Another impressive drive by the Jets. Now, as we talked about, can they find a play to get there?
Ball's on the ground, and Smith was late to fall on it.
There's one of the problems with the zone read.
But he's able to get it back.
You got to be decisive, and it's got to be a strict handoff. Oh, and it comes out of there. So Geno Smith probably caught in between. Wasn't sure. And that's the worst thing you can be when you're running that type of play.
Loss of 2. Second and 12 from the 26. Down to the end zone and just short of Jeremy Curley. And there was contact on Geno after the release.
Slow developing play that time. And Geno Smith, it's a good decision. He might have a touchdown, but it takes so long that when he decides to make the throw, he gets pressured.
Yeah, Chris Jones influenced this pass coming up short. Curley without a catch.
I think Curley just changed his route as I saw that. He looked back, saw the football wasn't thrown, and broke it outside.
DJ Graham in at wideout, speedster number 10 for the Jets, and a timeout is called by New York. Have the football almost 5 minutes here on the first drive of the third quarter. Football fans, Sunday is the last day to share your football story for a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 49. Go to NFL.com/Together We Make Football for more information and official rules. So coming out of a Jets timeout, 3rd and 12, got to get down to the 14 for a first.
Know you're in field goal range.
There's Decker open. And it takes a couple of members of that secondary to bring him down as he caught it and ran away from Revis for a moment.
They're stacking the receivers, and when you stack them, it's making the defensive backs go off. So it gives them a little space, and Derek Decker takes, boy, nice quick move underneath. You know, Eric Decker is slick. You've heard Geno Smith say it, all the coaches. He is absolutely the best route runner, has good timing, good footwork, wide open that time against Darrelle Revis.
Gain of 18. Decker 4 catches, 65. First and goal. Can they get to the end zone for the first time tonight as Ivory is pushed out by Collins. Mark it at the 2.
Another good quick decision. Geno Smith, no hesitation, right to the flat. Chris Ivory does a good job. And now, inside the 1. I've seen it already in a couple situations this game, Jim. The Patriots are going to get everybody inside.
Sheldon Richardson is in at fullback. Number 91, Ivory, the running back. From the 1, Ivory up and over for the Jets touchdown.
Had a feeling we might see him in the fullback.
Yeah, he followed him right in.
Well, if you're going to put a big old defensive lineman in there, you got to follow him. And that was a nice job. The penetration now makes the decision to go over the top, and he definitely crossed the line. Really impressive drive. The Jets did it all. Quarterback, the passes, the runs, the movement, and finally finding a way to get it in there.
Yeah, 19th play. run inside of the New England 30, and as you said it, finally getting it across. We have our third lead change of the night. Extra point is tacked on, and the Jets drive 80 yards in a little over 6 minutes. A lot of it behind Ivory, who takes it home for the lead. Let's check on a little coaching moment with Rob Ninkovich, as the Jets have now rushed for 167 yards.
A little bit about that technique. Stay outside.
And Golick steps up to the 4 to take it. Slashes back to the inside and is brought down by Hakeem near the 30. Rex Ryan said, "We may be the only guys who think we can win, and that's fine because our guys truly feel they can do this." The Jets lead it. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Fury in theaters tomorrow, October 17th. Bose, official sound of the NFL. And by the Lexus GX, dare to be spontaneous. The Samuel Adams statue behind Faneuil Hall as the Patriots get their first play of the third quarter, and it's Vereen for about 5. 20 years ago this past January, Robert Kraft came in and bought this downtrodden franchise that had hosted only one postseason game in 34 years before the Kraft family came in and turned fortunes around. 2nd and 5 as Brady completes it to Vereen. And that's going to be 2 yards shy of a first.
Little different look from the Jets. You know, Jim, we wondered, we talked about it, halftime, the adjustment. You cannot let Tom Brady just stand there. So showing some different rush lanes, had a blitzer that time. Knowing if they give him all day, there's no way you can cover the receivers down the field.
That rush on first down by Vereen was only the 6th running attempt of the night for New England. 4 by Vereen, 2 by Gray, and it's a 3rd and 3. They're going to have a new set of downs as Edelman's out to the 47.
Well, the shortage of defensive backs really shows in a play like that. Julian Edelman in the slot, caught over 100 footballs last year, and you have a linebacker trying to cover him in all that space on the field.
Jets may have been offsides. Pace. And it's a 2-yard run by Vereen, but it might be against New York here.
Offside. Number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
By the way, that one playoff game in 34 years, Bump Phillips brought the Houston Oilers in here. The 1978 divisional game. Dante Dan Pastorini threw 3 touchdowns. That McKinney Burroughs and Earl Campbell was over 100. And that was it. One playoff game in, well, 3.5 decades at home. Bump Phillips and the Oilers coming here and winning that one. Bump Phillips coming up on the 1-year anniversary Saturday of his passing. A great legend, former coach of the Oilers and Saints, as Brady looked long and throws this one out of bounds, but it generates a flag. Vereen was the target.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Number 56 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And by the way, the Bum Phillips Bowl is going to be contested down in the Golden Triangle, down in the Port Arthur area tomorrow night. 2 high schools that Bum coached. One in the 50s, Nederland against Port Neches Groves. He coached there in the 60s, and he'll be playing down in that area tomorrow for the Bum Phillips Bowl. Quite a night. What a beautiful trophy, and the Port Arthur News behind all of that. Remembering one of the real heroes. 1st and 10 off the penalty. And it's going to be Vereen with another carry. He's inside the 40, brought down by Pace.
Well, this defense, Jim, they're really caught. You know that you want to put pressure on Tom Brady, but it's hard. Why? Because you can't match up. Your lack of defensive backs, you can't go man-to-man coverage outside.
Quickly to the line and to the snap. 2nd and 4. And Vereen got pushed back by Wilkerson the second to hit him to keep him short of the first.
So the Jets are that's their quandary right now. And then you got Tom Brady with the snap counts, the quick snap, the hurry up. He's in the shotgun, and then he's got a couple offsides with his voice inflection. So you're playing a quarterback in an offense that has everything, and they get all the little tricks to keep drives going.
They've converted once on third down. Alex Edelman with the ball, and he bounces around, pinballing for a first down. Edelman.
Well, you talked about this playbook, and here's another one. Saw this in practice. Good timing, and Edelman is going full speed when he gets the football in the handoff. So that's new. Jet defense couldn't be ready for that.
Picks up 8. And the Patriots are mixing it up now on their first possession of the second half.
3 tight ends. Look out.
Brady. That one well out of bounds in the area of Gronkowski.
Well, when they go 3 tight ends, you got to worry because they're trying to trick you. So they send Brandon LaFell down here, and Gronkowski's going to go out on the sideline trying to get the big play. But the Jets defense ready for it. Tom Brady does a good job throwing it away.
David Harris was trying to blitz. He got picked up by Jonas Gray, but Brady felt that Harris was closing in on him. That's why the pass was thrown away, and it's Vereen returning to the backfield, and he stumbles after early contact by the Jets, by Barnes. It's a gain of 2.
Well, the Jets are bringing more defensive players in the game here in the second half, trying to keep guys fresh so they can get to the quarterback. So they know Tom Brady, the hurry up, all this shotgun and passing takes the energy. Now they're going to use timeout.
Timeout called by the Jets just before the snap, and now they're left with only 1. Sunday, Brett Favre is live on game day morning with his thoughts as Peyton Manning prepares to break his career touchdown record. NFL game day morning Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern live on NFL Network. Peyton needing 2 to tie, 3 to break the record.
I thought it was an unbreakable record, but talk about Peyton, it's not.
3rd and 9, coming out of the Jets timeout. Brady's pass, diving catch, but it's going to be short of the first. It's Vereen. And about a yard shy of it. They're going to bring.
Well, look at everybody standing up, Jim. They're only going to bring 2 rushers, and they put it, well, yeah, it is 2. Hard to tell which. That time it was long enough where the defense just set an umbrella, and Tom Brady had to throw it underneath.
They'll bring out Gostowski for a field goal that would give the lead back to New England from 36 yards. That kick is good. Inside the left upright. And now we have a 4th lead change. 20-19 New England. Back after Gostowski made a field goal. Take a look at supervision. And it was close, but it was good. From 36. And that is another touchback produced by Gostowski. Jets offense been moving the ball all night. Come back out down 1 with 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. The 2 teams tonight combined 11 drives, 9 scores. The Patriots have punted twice. The Jets have not had to bring out their punter 1 time this evening. Chris Johnson's the running back. And they fake it to him, and sideline bound they go for Amaro. And that little pivot move, pirouetting for 13 and a first.
Jets looking for plays to get in the end zone. Watch what they do. The Patriots get fixed on a switch release. Who's got who, and then they stack the receivers, which just makes defensive backs back up a little bit. And Eric Decker sells it against Revis, gets open over the middle. So that's what you call a halftime adjustment.
Here's Wildcat with Powell. Giving it to Johnson.
Catch it first, then hand it off.
It wasn't clean all the way. It was bobbled. Just fortunate not to have a mistake here.
Well, the snap wasn't quite perfect.
Look at Ninkovic that just had a little exchange we saw with his coach.
Yeah,
little technique. Pretty sure-handed tackle right here. 2nd and 10. They've got 3 tight ends in. Coming after the quarterback. In trouble. And he's sacked for the 2nd time tonight. Casey Walker and the whole Patriot brigade in on him, including Jones.
The protection is good initially, but since you got so many people back there, the running back helping, the Patriots finally come with the blitz. Nobody opened down the field. So I even figured that this time was the time for the Patriots to change their defense, to be more aggressive, and see if they can make a play just like they did, a negative one, and put this Jets offense in a tough spot.
Yes, they have at 3rd and 15. They go underneath to Powell. Hightower is there to defend. And Powell is brought down 4 yards shy of the first. And the Jets will punt for the first time tonight with Ryan Quigley. Quigley 2nd in the league in net average behind Pat McAfee of the Colts. Edelman is the return man and always a dangerous threat. Use the sideline here for the angle, and it ends up at a fair catch by Edelman. 48-yard punt. Jets are finally stopped tonight by the New England defense. Patriots up by 1. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. And by State Farm. State Farm, pump up your savings with a discount double check today. Looking at the northern entrance to and from Boston, the Bunker Hill Memorial Bridge, as we move to the outskirts of Boston here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, a town incorporated back in 1778. Go with Vereen and a shotgun formation on 1st down. Vereen the back, that is. And that bounces off the hands of Gronkowski. Saturday, it's the best game from best conference. The Aggies will meet up with the Crimson Tide, and it all starts with college football today.
A little pressure that last play against Tom Brady. The Jets kind of changing their defensive front, trying to get a little more speed on the edge. Jason Babbitt in there on 1st down, not just passing down.
You saw Tim Wright split wide as a receiver, and Vereen waiting for something to open up. He showed patience a couple of times on that carry and got 6, but a 3rd and 4 is coming up.
Yeah, it's tough down here when you look at this, how the Jets play. The Patriots, one of the best teams, maybe the best in the NFL, with everything they can do in 3rd and 5 or less, because you have Julian Edelman, Gronkowski, guys who can work the inside. Tom Brady can get rid of the football fast in these situations.
Vereen tonight with 118 scrimmage yards. 3rd and 4. Jets blitz. Brady gets it away, and it's knocked down by Allen. Antonio Allen denying the completion to Amendola.
Well, he's had a couple rough plays tonight, but that was really good. He sees Tom Brady. Pressure again by Babbitt. Marcus Cannon in at left tackle. He saw the throw, broke, and then it was perfect technique. Reach in front, off arm, his left arm behind, just in case he misses the football.
Ryan Allen, the 6th left-footed punter to be with New England during the Belichick era. He's always liked to have a left-footed punter because of the different spin confusion it can cause for the returners. And in this case, Powell does not go for the fair catch, and he is brought down by Don Jones instantly. 53-yard punt. Hey, it's Throwback Thursday, and tonight we remember Jim Nantz. What a career he had. in a life that was far too short. Passed away back in 1992. The fullback, part of that whole Syracuse connection, legendary backs. He had 5,400 career rush yards. Throwback.
Yeah, how about
Thursday.
that? Back in that day, do you see how big he looked? And of course, he was fast. So it'd be a good day, modern day running back.
On first down, it's Ivory, who now is up to 105 yards on the night.
Well, we talked about it. You know, Gerard Mayo out. And if you thought, okay, how the Jets win this game, the quarterback moves and run inside. And we've seen both of those here tonight. That's why the Jets are, of course, just 1 point down.
You know, Jim Nance, I always wanted to meet him. And I had gotten a message from him 2 weeks before he passed. Oftentimes people asked if I might be related. And, you know, I even got the same question. So I made note, one day I'm going to call him soon. And we're going to share a good laugh about it. And unfortunately, that call was never made. A lesson in procrastination. In the third quarter, a good Thursday night game taking place here at Foxborough. We start the fourth. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, and the Jets putting up quite a fight here tonight. New England leads at 20-19, starting the fourth with a 2nd and 6 carry. Ivory, he's going to make 2 or 3 defenders get in on the action before he's going to go down.
Playing the situation, you saw Hightower, how fast he reacted because they're giving up the runs. 2nd and 6 are running down. So he took the chance, read it, made the tackle.
Bilal Powell taken to the Jets locker room. The Patriot defense right now without Revis on the field. Third and 5, and Chandler Jones comes crashing in on Geno Smith.
Looks like the coverage was good down the field. That time they put Darrelle Revis, Jim. They had him up on the line of scrimmage against Eric Decker. I think he was the primary receiver. Chandler Jones finally gets around the edge. He is the Patriots' best pass rusher.
That was a 15-yard setback. The 3rd sack of the night by New England. Quigley. A lot of hang time, but Edelman's going to try to return it. And Salim got to him, and Graham was there as well. 50-yard punt. Brady coming back out, holding on to that 1-point lead.
Watching NFL Thursday Night Football.
Next Thursday night, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. They will meet up with their rivals, the Denver Broncos. Peyton Manning, Thursday Night Football, CBS and NFL Network next Thursday. Brady's hit 3 of his last 10 passes. And he's going to fake to Gray and put it up in the air. It's out of bounds as the Jets, again, were able to bust across the line.
Well, early in the game, Tom Brady, they block it up and they give him extra time to throw it down the field. Over 4 seconds, which is unheard of in the NFL. But that's how you get big plays. But in the second half, just like that last play, they changed up the front. Jason Babin, the main culprit, making Tom Brady get rid of it quicker and throwing some footballs away.
2nd and 10, fake to Gray. And Edelman with a rare drop that would have, you have to think, gone for a first down.
Really well done, faked me out. I'm looking inside for the run. But anytime you get Edelman locked up, David Harris, the linebacker, but the play action fakes and the sellout that they are doing makes it hard for the defense to pick up the football and find those receivers running across the field.
Gronkowski with 3 catches in this game.
Looking for blitz with 2 running backs in the backfield.
Including Bolden for the first time tonight on offense. 3rd and 10. The edges got in on him. And that's Bolden hitting the deck right away by Demario Davis. And the Patriots offense is coming off the field.
Well, I'll tell you, the Jets went in there and really changed things up here in the second half, and we saw it again there. Tom Brady knew it was going to be a zone, but the pressure was there, made him throw it short, and they get off the field.
Fourth time tonight, the Jets have forced a 3-and-out. Allen. And the Jets will let this one. Powell stayed away from the return. There's a flag down. Ball came to rest near the 55-yard boot.
He must have lost it in the lights, Jim, because it looked like he was going to make the fair catch and just let it go.
During the kick, holding, number 10 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Called on T.J. Graham, and now the Jets will be in a real pinch at about the 4-yard line. Sunday regional action on CBS. Main game will be Cincinnati at Indianapolis. Two division leaders to meet, plus other regional action. Check your local listings. And, of course, be with us at noon Eastern for the NFL Today. From the 4. It's Ivory. And he's hit sideways after a run of 1.
Yeah, he slipped, and that time he waited too long to make the decision. The Jets offensive line, they pushed him back that time.
It was Deontay Skinner, rookie from Mississippi State, who was undrafted, who's going to see more action as the season goes on because of the loss of Mayo.
Right, and he, not only that, Deontay Skinner, really good athlete, but they, of course, we're not expecting him to play. Missed a lot of time during training camp because he was hurt. Very few repetitions.
2nd and 9. A lot of Patriots on the line, and Smith with pressure, able to, incomplete. Get it over to Graham, who should have had the catch. And let's check the flag.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 39 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Second penalty of the game on Brandon Browner.
T.J. Graham is the wide receiver. Oh, a little move, go, stop and go. He just fell. He had his hands on him early, but he got him off. Brandon Browner, his calling card is being aggressive at the line of scrimmage. You got to be careful when T.J. Graham is in there very fast, and that's why they put him in there looking for a big play.
Gives the Jets a first down at the 10. Middle of the field, incomplete. Cumberland the target. That's Chris Jones making contact with Geno Smith, who's hurt.
Well, he's going to have to come out of the game for one play unless the Jets call their last timeout. Oh, he is hurt.
Of course, the Jets' backup quarterback is Michael Vick. The only carry 2 on the active roster. It's Vick, and then, of course, Matt Sims is the third quarterback, if you will, but he's not on the active roster. He's on the practice squad. And watch his left leg here.
Oh, yes. Chandler Jones. I can't tell who that was. Oh, it's Chris Jones. Kind of caught it, straightened it out.
And we'll step aside as the Jets tend to. Geno Smith and Michael Vick gets warmed up. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. Lowe's never stop improving. And by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. Michael Vick has come in.
Well, Geno Smith, if they thought he was going to come back in, he's warming up on the sideline. I would think they would run the football here and get Geno Smith back in there for a third down. Just not sure he's ready to come back.
And Vick gonna run with it on 2nd and 10. And Vick picks up about 6. Vick, who saw action at San Diego 2 weeks ago. And of course, a lot of news as you see Smith is going to come right back in. But Michael actually admitted it. He didn't feel he had prepared for that game.
Well, he backed off that a little bit, but I think what happens is you don't realize a backup quarterback, Jim, you got to work harder than the starter because you don't get the practice reps and everything. So you got to do it through film work and all the extra stuff. And I don't think he was just physically, mentally, like you said, maybe grinding it out, ready to play when Geno Smith didn't play well in that first half.
Vick carried it for 5 yards, and after one play out, Smith is in on a big 3rd and 5, and he throws it incomplete. Revis denying that to Decker.
Well, that was tight. He was all over Eric Decker that time. Good throw by Geno Smith. Eric Decker could not work his way back to the football. This is a route they ran last week. He had Revis kind of pinned, but you got to make that one step back. That might have been enough to get the completion.
Now the Jets, who had gone some 2.5 quarters without a punt, are punting for the 3rd straight possession. And it's a short one. It's going to bounce out of bounds near the 45, right in front of Rex Ryan. Only 29 yards on the punt. One official was going to mark it at the 50, but he was definitely in the wrong place. It's going to be at the 46. You know, the Jets open up week 1, went against a rookie starter, Derek Carr. They won the game, and then the next 5 games, I mean, look at the quarterbacks they've had to go against. Rodgers, Cutler, Stafford, Rivers, Peyton. Peyton and Brady in a, 4-day span, you see those two. And first down, they clear the backfield. And Edelman, for the 2nd time in this quarter, is unable to come up with the catch.
Looking for those drive starters. That's why you throw. They love this kind of play. They'll throw it to their tight ends, wide receivers, trying to pick up 5 or 6 yards on first down, but no question, it's almost always the same thing. You can see Julian Edelman looking down the field before he caught the football.
Now a 2nd and 10. And Gronkowski has Harris on him right away, as well as Kyle Wilson. Mario Davis was blitzing Brady and made contact, but it's a gain of about 5 for New England with 3rd down coming.
Excuse me, this Jets defense mixed it up. We've talked about it. Really impressive here in the second half, making Tom Brady get rid of the football faster, changing some coverages. Switching a lot of different players in there, helping them get pressure on Tom Brady.
Need 5 for the first. Brady. This time Edelman has it, and he shakes off a tackle and gets thrown down by the shoulder pads by Landry for the first down for New England.
What a job by Tom Brady. It's an all-out blitz. They got a free runner coming from the outside, and he just steps back in the pocket, gives himself a little extra time and throws off his back foot and puts it right on the money. That blitz was done perfectly by the Jets. The timing, the spacing, Tom Brady beat it.
First down from the 27. Fake to Vereen. And there's Gronkowski to the 3.
So good at those type of passes. Double tight end on one side. They love that formation. It creates so many problems. Now the hurry up.
Yeah, they hurry to the line and they give it to Vereen, and he is stopped. Maybe even a loss of a yard. The Jets were wise to that as the Patriots really sprinted down to the 3 to get in position for a quick snap and catch the Jets off guard, but they weren't.
Yeah, you play them twice a year. You get ready for some of these things. You better be. You know, the quick snaps, the quarterback sneak, if you're in this division and you're not ready for it, That's a tremendous knock against the players and the coaches.
Second and goal. Gronk to the right, LaFell far left. That's right in a slot to the left, and he flinched.
False start, number 81, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Tim Wright, who was a part of the Logan Mankins trade, and he's still learning the system here. He's caught a touchdown each of the last 2 games, and you see some real promising signs for him with this team.
Yeah, I do, and so does Tom Brady. You know, he's tall, 6'4", can really run, and they're trying to recreate the Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez offense they had, and they're getting close to it.
Second and goal with 8:25 to go. Amendola with a flag out. He's bounced out at the 3.
Pass interference, number 19, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Brandon LaFell is flagged for that.
Couldn't see it. I think that's why the receiver was wide open. '19's going to come down. Runs in Antonio Allen, and that's the penalty. Got to avoid him. Antonio Allen is allowed to have that. That was his space. He was moving forward.
Second and goal, and the Patriots take him back to the 19. Brady, he knew he was going to get hit by Wilkerson, and he takes the incompletion and the pounding.
Well, Muhammad Wilkerson finally gets in there so quick, number 96. And Tom Brady does a good job of just getting rid of the football and saving those yards.
He felt him coming.
Yeah. You know, listen, live to play another day, right, Jim? I mean, it's...
Can't argue with that.
No, you can't. That's why he threw it close enough to a receiver where it wasn't intentional grounding. There was somebody out to the right, but that's what you have to do as a quarterback. Get rid of the football quick.
It's third and goal. And Brady on the run throws, and Amendola makes the catch for the New England touchdown.
What a catch. Jim, we see it more and more from all the quarterbacks. It doesn't matter how old, how fast, but movement to give your receivers a little extra time. Nobody open, he moves. Amendola turns it up. What a good job by him. What a catch. This is not planned. He's going to break outside, turns it up, reaches behind and makes the catch. What a job adjusting for the football by Amendola.
And he got Antonio Allen turned around. How about the Jets allowing the 19-yard touchdown on third and goal from the 19?
They opened up the running lane for Tom Brady. Nobody in front, and you let him move. He didn't feel the pressure, and it cost you a touchdown.
With the 8-point lead. Wisconsin good. Brady's third touchdown pass of the night. Amendola's first touchdown of the season. Only the fourth catch of the whole season for Danny Amendola, and his first catch of the night.
It was a good one. What a job by him. And how about Tom Brady? We've seen him move a few times tonight. Got rid of the football, avoided some sacks, and 2 touchdown throws on his movement. Wow, that's pretty good. 9 touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's since the Kansas City game.
Well, since the Kansas City game, they've taken this offense out.
Stepping up for it. It's Powell. And he fails to make it even to the 15.
Amendola is the second inside receiver up top. There you go. You got it pointed out. Watch the movement. Turns it up. Brady on the run. That was a pretty dang good throw on the run. And this turn to catch it.
They've got Vic and Geno Smith in right now. Look at Vic lined up in this formation behind Geno. Run the option. looking to throw it, but he's sacked instead by Chandler Jones with a flag also down. They try to play similar to that in week 1 against Oakland. Near the goal line, and Vic threw an incompletion.
Holding, number 26 defense. 5-yard penalty being forced from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, when you see Michael Vick get in the backfield with Geno Smith, what are you thinking on defense? High alert. Stay back. It's going to be some type of trick play, you think, especially. So what if it's not? You give up a few yards, the Jets are backed up.
That's the 4th defensive holding call on New England tonight. First down carry. Chris Johnson. Brought down by Chandler Jones, Jamie Collins. And just a reminder, the next broadcast window for the league, 1 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. Here's the slate of games, CBS and Fox, and check your local listings for the game in your area.
I know there's 7 minutes to go in the game, but you have to start thinking. The Jets with only 1 timeout. A little sense of urgency. Why? In case you have to punt, you can save yourself some time for one more drive.
That's Curley to the 40. Curley's first catch of the night.
Really such a weapon for the Jets. Plays inside, just breaks in there quick and beats Dennard to the middle.
For 16. And a first down at the 40. First down throw, and it's over the head of his intended target. It was Curley again. He was trying to hit. So Geno Smith on the previous possession at this frightening moment where the left leg got a bit hyperextended and he was down in pain for a brief while. Had to sit out one play and was able to re-enter after that. 2nd and 10. As Chris Johnson stretches it out for about 8.
Boy, really good call. The defense pinning back. They're ready to rush the passer. So now you got 2 options here. If you're the Jets, if you decide to run it and you get it to 1 yard, then you got to really, I think you got to go for it on 4th down. If they can get it where it's a yard or inside.
Look at this, the 191 tonight rushing. Most versus Belichick at New England. And 3rd down, Smith gets some blocks there. Weaving through traffic, and what an effort by Smith to pick up the first. They had him surrounded a couple of times, and he was able to work out of it.
Just a great job. Just staying relaxed. They don't even pin. They got a double team on Ninkovich, and they can't get him out of the way. Nobody's really open. Doesn't take a chance. And top of the broadcast, Jim, what we say? Geno Smith's got to move around. I think he's done that quite well tonight.
Yeah, he's 7 times. He has scrambled tonight for 37 yards, and you can see there no issues with his wheels after being injured just a short while back. Big 3rd down conversion for the Jets. That pass in the area of T.J. Graham. He was defended by Logan Ryan, and we're inside of 5 minutes to play in Foxborough. Coming up next is the Mazda postgame show, interviews and analysis of tonight's game. You know, one thing about this league, you know, people think there's a sure thing. They're just hard and fast opinions about, you know, it's all over or this is the best or the worst.
Right.
You know, no one talked about the Jets being competitive here tonight. And here they are driving. It's a 1-score game inside 5 minutes to go in the 4th. The pocket open. He's got Cumberland, and the Jets have another first down. Chris Johnson's got to get some credit here. He picked up the blitz and allowed his quarterback to connect for 12.
You said it, boy. He looked everywhere because they're not coming open quick. Watch 21. Gets the block on the outside. Geno Smith looking around, finding the 2nd and 3rd receiver tonight. And his movement, you know, Jim, his movement's so good that it does slow the rush down.
You said high alert when Vic's on the field, and that's the case here. Slot to the left.
4 down territory now, of course.
That's Johnson. Big piece of running by Johnson for 6.
And of course, no doubt, Jim, if they do find a way, you're over there on the sideline. You're already talking. You got a list anyway of 2-point plays. Each team usually carries 3 or 4 2-point plays into each game. You're ready for them. You practice them every week. So Marty Mornhinweg, he knows what he's going to do probably if that situation arises. But again, the Jets in a good situation where they can run or pass.
2nd and 4. And it's Johnson taking off for the first down and driving backwards to the 14 behind DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Well, this is the story of the game, isn't it? Watch number 60 gets the block on the outside. Chandler Jones couldn't get off of it quick enough to make the tackle. Chris Johnson fresh. But the Jet running backs, the Jets offensive line.
Well, it's been Ivory most of the night, and Chris Johnson though really stepping up, playing a big part in this Jet advancement to the 14. That was a 16-yard run. First down, and they come after him as Chung in on the quarterback.
Blitzing's about spacing, opening up a running lane for the blitzer. Watch 23. Patrick Chung times it perfectly, and Geno Smith has no chance except to throw it away. The rushers both went outside, took the offensive lineman out of the middle, and let Chung run through there untouched.
You were talking about a touchdown and a 2-point conversion attempt if the Jets get to that point. I'm told by Ethan Cooperson, our stats man, that the Jets have not successfully converted a 2-point conversion in 4 years. 2nd and 10, Ivory's back in, and the ball's coming his way. Hightower pushes him out at the 10.
Well, I'm going to ask Mr. Statsman, how many have they tried?
He's digging.
He's digging, okay.
He's digging.
All right. But still, you think about this right here if you're the Jets. A lot of things in play. You can still run the football. I think the Patriots are going to come with pressure, but the run is still there because you know you're going to go for it on 4. And if you got to run, I'd check out of it.
A drive that started at their own 14. 3rd and 6 at the 10. Smith has the time and the target and the touchdown to Jeff Cumberland.
The protection was tremendous. Geno Smith waited. Cumberland, a big, fast tight end, goes across the formation.
.86-yard drive, and here is that last 2-point conversion that was successful. Sanchez to Braylon Edwards.
How about that?
But now this game with 2:31 to go has everything riding on this play, this 2-point attempt. Cumberland lined up next to Smith. Now they shift him over. And a slot.
They're going to try to come after him.
Low snap. Smith, end zone, and over the head of Amaro. That play had issues from the snap. It was just a little low. The timing was off. Chung was on the coverage. Amaro had no chance. NFL Thursday Night Football is sponsored by Dodge and by Outback Steakhouse. Outback, no rules, just right. Now it's going to be interesting to see the Jets still have a timeout and a 2-minute warning.
They're going to onside kick, it looks like, the way they're setting up. Yes, I would kick off and force the Patriots to throw it on 3rd down and try to win the game that way.
Ball, onside kick. Ball's on the ground. And it's recovered by New England.
Great kick. Great kick. Stayed on the ground. Nobody could just pick up the easy hop.
It is Amendola who actually was about 20 yards behind the front line and ran up to get it.
Watch the football. That's the key. Can you get the right bounces and it stays down? Of course, it's just...
Looks like it hit LaFell.
Well, he went up to catch it. It never took the hop.
Went off his shin.
Stayed down. That's why it almost goes the Jets' way. Jim, I would have kicked off. Think about it. The first play, the 2-minute warning, you got the timeout. If you stop them in 3 plays, you got the ball back. Only need a field goal to win.
That's Barine for no gain. Amendola, though, as the Jets call a quick timeout, coming up with a couple of huge plays here in the late stages.
So Rex Ryan, the only difference is if you don't get the onside kick, they're going to punch you down in there deep. If you do stop them, and those extra yards are going to be tough to come by with time against you.
So the Jets are out of timeouts. And again, the Mazda postgame show will be coming your way immediately after this one. Interviews and analysis of tonight's game. Amendola with the touchdown catch on 3rd and goal from the 19 and the onside kick recovery.
Right, you know, too, you go back to that 2-point conversion. They had the right play call, Jim. It's a fade to the inside receiver to their 2nd-round draft pick, Jason Morrow, a 6'5". Geno Smith just a little quick with the throw and not able to stick it on his back shoulder and let the big guy go up and get it.
2nd and 10. Toss. Barine, he does not want to go out of bounds, so he cuts back. Is down at the 50. It'll bring it to the 2-minute warning, and out of it the Patriots will face 3rd and about 14.
When you go over these situations, if he ran out of bounds, they just said just keep running in there and take your uniform off.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then keep running to the parking lot.
That's right. So smart play by Barine.
Onto your car, and that would do it. But we've still got a lot of business to settle here in New England. 3rd and 13 coming up. I turn it over to you for the strategy.
Well, Patriots are an aggressive football team, but I would absolutely run this football, take as much time off the clock, and then I would take a delay of game to make the punt even easier.
I'm going to go with Gray. He's got 5.
You know, I'd take the delay of game, Jim, just because it gives you more room for error when you punt it, and that was the play. You go by the book, even when you have Tom Brady. You've got to respect the time. Big difference, 1:55 to what we're going to see now, probably just a little over a minute.
Yeah, they're going to be able to run this down to about 1:15. And Ryan Allen had a punt blocked in the opener down in Miami. Here's a Patriot timeout at 1:16.
Called him 2 seconds left.
I would have waited another tick.
I would. Hey, you know, that's why I thought you'd take the delay of game. That way you make sure you get every possible second off.
Right.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You see the players getting ready for this. But, Jim, you look at the Jets, they're 1-5. And you really look at the only game last week against Denver, they had a chance to go down and tie the game up. They had some tough breaks go against them, fumbled a punt. You know, you think of Green Bay, they had a big lead, let it get away from them. Detroit, Chicago, they had many chances to win both of those games.
Been a tremendous effort tonight by the Jets. Now they're going to get the ball back. Where will the drive start? The boot, not deep, but it's going to be bouncing around at the 12. So 1:06 to play with no timeouts. Trying to get in position for Nick Folk, whose career long is 56. And once made one from 54 on this field.
Well, not many times we've been up here. There is not a breath of air down on that field. The flags on top of the goalpost, they haven't moved the whole night. So he could be good from 60, 62 in elements like this here. Warm, a lot of humidity.
Can they get him in position? Smith. They'll go underneath with Johnson. He dives down near the 20.
A lot of time, if it's a three-man rush, a veteran quarterback, you know you can move and maybe create a bigger play.
22 seconds since the last snap, and they've got the first down. And they're to about the 32 with Chris Johnson.
Yeah, you got to spike it. Spike the football, stop the clock.
And there's your spike at 29.
Well, now you put yourself in a position where you can't dump it over the middle again short. So you got to look for the throw down the field. But again, three-man rush. Don't be afraid to move.
Well, it's a team that came in saying it's desperate times. You're fighting for a season right here. Schedule does get easier after this, but and they pull off the huge surprise. Smith down the field, got a connection, and out of bounds after the catch is David Nelson.
I was watching the official on the sideline to see if he was going to keep the clock moving, because when you catch the football going backwards, but he gets out.
Yeah, they might want to review that one up top because the ball was moving a bit. Looks like it's going to be validated. 1st and 10. Here they go. Inching closer. Pressure on Smith. Gets it to Curley, and he's out of bounds to stop the clock. He got away from Dennard and picks up 13.
There you go. The movement all night long. The fact that he moves. Curley gets a chance to make the second move down the field and get open. What a job by him watching the quarterback. He was at the middle of the field and passed it. Watch Curley, number 11. Here he goes. Stops. Goes back out. Great job by him.
If Dennard's able to make the tackle in the field of play, the Jets, well, they would have been able to come up and spike it, but would have had very little time to work with as Smith gets it over to Ivory, and he shoved out of bounds at the 40 of the 58-yard attempt from here. 8 seconds to go. They may run another play.
They're in field goal range. That's how you got to look at it. And you got to tell Geno Smith, if you get a quick throw out of bounds, take it. Otherwise, that's it. Don't run around. Don't throw it in the middle, of course.
Would you run another play right here with no timeouts?
I would run a play only to throw it to the outside receivers if the defenders are off, and they are not. Throw it away.
And that's what he does. It's going to be a 58-yard attempt by Nick Folk to win the game.
That was so well done by the Jets in every aspect. That's all you can say. That was a great job stopping the Patriots and executing that drive.
You know, New England can take a timeout right at the last second if it wants to. 58 yards to give the Jets a victory no one saw coming. No timeout. The kick is blocked. And the Patriots hang on barely for the victory.
Did the outside man block it? Did they get around the corner, or did he just kicked it low because he was trying to drive it 58 yards for the win?
As Arrington coming in from the outside.
Yeah, I think it was blocked by the defensive line, Jim.
Look at Chris Jones, 94. It was Jones. It was Chris Jones, 94. The one who hit Geno Smith and knocked him down for a play earlier in the quarter.
Well, that's what happens. Long field goals, you kick them lower. And what a job by Chris Jones.
Robert and Jonathan Kraft, celebrators. Some former Patriots here, like Willie McGinnis. You saw Deion Branch. What a game.
Great game. Great effort by both teams.
Thursday night thriller goes to New England, 27-25. Coming up next, it's the Mazda post-game show. For Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from Foxborough. You've been watching Thursday Night Football. We'll join the studio after this.